Sean, hello.
Hey Bart,
How's it going, Sean?
not too bad yourself?
Pretty well.
Good, good. So I have a hand that I played at the Hippodrome Casino in London, and this is not a casino that I usually play at. It was a one pound, £2 deep stack game,
Right,
and
and this particular hand is more of this is it's like a situational thing, right? Towards the end,
yeah,
basically.
I don't really have an issue with anything in the hand. It was
Uh-huh.
more about what happened.
I was actually are you still there, Sean?
Yeah, I'm still
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I've actually been to the Hippodrome before too. I want to say that I did World Series of Poker Europe commentary in 2008. I don't know if that was in Leicester. Is Leicester Square, is that the same thing as the Hippodrome, the Leicester
Yeah,
Square, right? Yeah,
that,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
there's
so I've
two
actually
in
been there.
Leicester. Yeah, I think the big one is the Hippodrome. That's in Leicester Square. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so run through the hand real quick and then we'll talk about what happened.
Yeah, sure. So it's a £1, £2 deep stack game,
Mhm.
and everybody was sort of 500 to 1,000 big blinds deep. So I sat down at the table. I put two 1K chips in front of me, and pretty much, I think it was like the very first hand. Under the gun limps in for £2. I was in the cutoff with Ace of Diamonds, Jack of Diamonds. I raised to 20. The big blind three bets to 70. Under the gun folds, and I end up completing and just calling.
So, is
So
it
the
is it
pot,
an uncapped game basically?
yeah, it's
Oh,
uncapped. So
okay.
you can as much as you like.
I got it.
Yeah,
So you sit down with two large chips, two 1K chips, and
correct,
you sit down with 2,000 in a £1 £2 game. Undergun limps cut off.
correct.
You're hitting the cutoff with Ace Jack of Diamonds. You make it 20, big blind, three bets to 70, and you call.
I call correct.
Okay. Yep.
Now this is where it's strange. So I put in a 1K chip to the in front of basically the dealer and saying that like if somebody can change it for me, and the dealer says no, it has to be changed by the floor. And I said, well, you can. Everybody has enough, so you can change it. I'm not going anywhere. Nobody else is going anywhere. You can change it with one of the players and then call the floor and they'll come and change the chip,
Uh-huh.
which is what he ended up doing. So he gave it to a player, gave me £1,000 in lower denomination chips. I
Okay.
put in the 70, and you play.
So this was like literally must have been like literally your first hand or something that you sat down.
My first hand,
Yeah. Okay.
literally my first.
Okay.
Although the actual player that I was playing with, I have played with him quite a bit at a different casino in London. Anyhow, the flop came the four of clubs, seven of diamonds, ten of hearts,
Four clubs, seven of diamonds,
and
10 of hearts. By the way, someone in the live chat
yeah,
says you made it 20. Well, one guy limped. It's 1-2, right? It's a deep stack game. So it's not
yeah.
insane,
This
right?
this deep stack game doesn't play like a normal 1-2 game. I mean,
Yeah.
the minimum bet is 15, 20. I mean,
Right.
I played in this before, so
Yeah.
it wasn't like everybody bets really, really big, and that's why everybody's so deep as well.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, the flop comes four clubs, seven of diamonds, ten of hearts,
Mhm.
and the big blind bets 60, and I call.
So he bet 60 into about 140,
Yeah,
and you call with ace, jack of diamonds. So you have two overs, a backdoor diamond
and a
draw, and a,
yeah backdoor
yeah.
straight draw basically.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I guess so. I mean, 60 into. I mean, I'm not gonna pick the part this hand because that's not the purpose of this. It's speculative, but I see what you got going on.
right.
Yep.
I mean, I'm thinking I can take it away from him on a later street. If it's there's just a lot of things that can happen, good things that can happen.
Well, you're super
Anyhow,
deep
the
too,
turn,
right? You're very, very deep.
yeah,
So you're 1,000 big blinds deep. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So the turn is the three of diamonds,
Okay.
which brings in the backdoor straight for me, the backdoor flush for
Flush
me,
draw, right?
and the big blind bets 175,
Okay.
and I call it.
So pot now is 610. You know what's kind of interesting here is that I might again like this is I'm not going to pick apart this hand, but I might actually raise the turn. I mean, if you were trying to float the flop to try to take it away from him, turn being a 3, I mean 5-6 comes in. I guess there's probably not a whole lot of two pair combos, but you could put a ton of pressure on this guy by like raising turn and just blasting the river. If someone was just not comfortable, playing a big pot with one pair. Anyways, 610 pounds. We'll go to the river.
Right. The
Yep.
river now is the jack of hearts and this is where it got interesting because when the river card came out, that's when the floor guy arrived to the table basically to change the chips.
Okay.
And the big blind jams pretty quickly. And I think about it for maybe 20 seconds and I call.
So he jams for, okay. So he jams, right? But you've got 1K in front of you, and then 1K was given to the floor, right?
1K was changed for me into small denomination chips.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my full 2,000 pounds in front of me. One of them being a 1K chip and the other being smaller chips.
Okay.
When he jammed for 12, he had his effective stack at the beginning was 1250.
Okay.
So, I mean, listen, this is one of those cases where I had to be good, 1 out of 3 times maybe for this to be a decent call. And like I said, I played with this player before. I call very quickly. This is where the issue.
Well, you must have some real history. By the way, it's actually not 1 out of 3. If he's betting double the size of the pot, it's more like you have to be right about 1 out of. You'd have to be right up here in this spot 40% of the time. So 1 out of 2.5.
Well,
right.
1 out of 2.5.
Yeah. Okay. Hero calls. Okay. Yep.
So I call, and this is when it got interesting because then the floor suddenly arrived there. The dealer starts telling him that I have a 1K chip over there that needs to be changed and my own. And then he asks the dealer who owns the 1K chips, and he says me. And so he starts asking what happened, blah blah blah. And then basically he just says, "Listen, you cannot be playing this hand because any chip over 1,000 pounds has to be verified before you're able to play."
By the way, so when you called, have the hands been revealed yet?
Not yet. No, the hand hadn't been revealed yet.
Okay. Yeah.
However, this is when the big blind he starts getting really angry, arguing with the floor, etc., and then he turns over his hand and he has 5, 6 of clubs.
Oh, no wonder why he's really angry, because he has the nuts.
he has nuts on the turn, exactly.
So the floor comes over to you basically and says to the table, "This can't play because it wasn't verified ahead of time." This guy starts going nuts because he has the nuts, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this, from my perspective, I just felt like this is I see a lot of people do a lot of scummy things at tables, and I don't want to be, I try never to be that sort of person. So when this did happen, I started arguing with the floor saying, like, this is ridiculous. This is stupid. Like, so I told them, why don't you go and verify the chip and then come back, and if the chips are good, you can pay the man and then give me the rest. And they said, no, that cannot happen. They said, I'm sorry, this hand is void. It cannot be played. And
the entire hand is void?
Yeah, they basically said that from the beginning, you should not have been allowed. The dealer should not have allowed you to play this hand.
Oh, that's insane. So what would happen in California, though, is that anytime, this is so in California, what would have happened, and by the way, Sean is actually calling in with the opposite of why people would think that they would call in. Usually someone would email me this and be like, this is bullshit. This guy was bluffing. I called, and now they're going to void the whole hand. But you're saying that you think it's ridiculous. You should lose the entire hand, right? Basically.
Oh, listen, I argued with the floor saying, this is just stupid. This makes absolutely no sense. I'm not making these chips in my basement and coming over here and putting them on the table and playing. This makes absolutely, and this is not a very large denomination chip. It's a 1K chip. It shouldn't be that big of. I've never seen that anywhere in any casino. So I was kind of a little stunned, to be honest.
So here's the thing. Like, what I was going to say is, in California, what would be akin to this, but they would never do this, but what would be akin to like not verifying the chip is if somebody sat down over the cap. So we had a big problem at 510 Commerce when I was regular there, where people would, like, if you table changed, or if you were just new, right, to a table, not from a must move. A must move, you had to take chips over. But if you were table change or you were new, the cap was 1,500. Well, you'd see these regs like sit down with like 3,000. And I've seen it. What they would do about that, though, is that if the hand had started and it wasn't called out before the hand had started, right, and there was 2 actions, the action is accepted. The money's going to play that hand, And then they would make the player take it down to the cap afterwards. And I think that that's the right approach. So here, I would think that the hand would play on because it wasn't caught. It's like an appeal. I don't know if you know baseball or European, but it's like an appeal in baseball. Like you have to appeal before the next play. And if you don't, you don't get to appeal before the next pitch. So that's how I think it should be. But they can have whatever house rule that they want. I think that that's ridiculous. Now, I'm sure what you're saying, you're probably asking me what I would do in the spot. Now, here's the thing.
Can I say something first?
Yeah, go ahead.
The issue is I told the guy, I said, listen, I saw it was getting out of hand. I was like, look, I don't care about the floor. Let him verify the chips. I'll pay you your £1,200 so long as you put it on your stack.
Okay.
Not that you put it in your pocket.
Right.
I'll pay it out of pocket.
That's fair. Yeah.
And he said, okay, that's cool. That's fine.
Yeah.
The question that I have, though, is I wonder whether had the roles been reversed and he actually was bluffing and I had caught him bluffing in that situation, would he have paid me the £1,200 now that he didn't have to?
Well, that's the problem. Because what I was going to say is that I will always defer to, even if it's not in my favor, I will kind of make things right. I'm usually the professional. Other people are recreational. Even if some guys try to angle me, I just kind of giggle it off. But, I think I gave the example a couple weeks ago about somebody actually misreading their hand. It's not happened to me, but I've seen pros actually give like a big whale their money back when they thought they had trips. They obviously misread their hand and they didn't. Or we've had somebody said that somebody got mucked their hand off the table because like one of the cards edged. They turned up. And then like the card like got knocked off the table and then the hand was declared dead. I would give the person the money if he had the winning hand. In this case, my gut instinct here is that I would give the other guy the money. But you bring up exactly what I was going to say. The problem here is that most of the time it's not going to work the other way around, meaning that you wouldn't get paid. Like somebody else wouldn't do that to you. So I don't know how that would sort of run into your thought process. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I want to do what's right for myself, if that makes any sense.
Right, I get it. Yeah, I get it. And you usually play in larger games too, right, Sean? So this is a small game for you. Right.
So this wasn't, it wasn't about the money, but like I said, afterwards, like I've seen people do a lot of scummy things at tables. So I was thinking, had he actually been bluffing, would he have paid me? I'm not sure he would have. I'm not sure whether he would have. Even though I know him and he's a nice guy, I don't know whether he would have done the reverse thing. So
listen, I like to make parallels. If G-Man is still in the chat, maybe this isn't necessarily the best parallel, but I always say like, well, what if you found somebody's wallet? Some people will take the money. Some people will return it, and meaning like no one would ever know, or you found some money on the ground. That's a better example. You found some cash on the ground. Are you going to turn it into the hot dog stand that's right there on the street, or are you just going to walk away with it? Some people would do both, right? You know what I'm saying? Some people, there would be people that will return it. There'll be people that will walk away. I think it's whatever the decision is right for you. Personally, I would probably give the guy the money. Me, I would.
Fair.
Yeah. Did you give the guy the money?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh, okay.
I right away I was like, listen, I don't want this to be a contentious point, and I want to carry on playing and have a good time. So, as long as you put the money on your stack, I give it to you out of pocket. We're good, and he did so.
Yeah, that's actually good that you said that. Yeah, he can't pocket the money. That's for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Money you put in his pocket.
No, thanks for the call.
It was a fair game. And he carried on playing, so that was awesome.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the call, Sean. Appreciate it. If you like what you've seen here, please hit the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this call-in hand, hit the like button down below. To check out crushlivepoker.com, click on the link in the description. Use the code YTA300 to get the first 30 days for free.